Now I got a pretty fun pattern for you today, folks. Nothing too fancy, just called a Black Coachman. Just a variation of the standard Royal Coachman dry fly, but instead of a red band with brown hackle, it's got a black band and black hackle. Nothing too hard about this pattern, but I think it's a pretty cool looking fly. Definitely a fun one to tie. So there we go in the vise, a Black Coachman. Pretty simple, but I think it's a pretty neat take on a all-time classic Royal Coachman. Tying this on a size 12, one extra long, barbless dry fly hook. And I'm going to be using black 70 denier thread. Just go ahead and catch this in anywhere on the shank of the hook. Now you got an option here, do the tail before the wings or the wings before the tail. I'm going to do the tail first. And it calls for golden pheasant tippets, but I'm going to use this Lady Amherst just because I have it, don't use it very often, and it's pretty cool stuff. What I like to do, grab some by the tips and then reach your scissors in here, snip off about 8 or 10. Then you can pull the main part of the feather out. That will keep your tips aligned. So let's catch it in pretty long, I'd say a body length. And if it flares up on you, don't worry. We can take care of that with some of the body material. But I think we're in good shape. Now, do I want to snip those little stubs or just bury them? I'm going to just bury them. Take my thread up, maybe a fourth of the way back. Now just take 2 slips of natural duck feather, and I like to put the convex sides together so that they flare out a little bit. And we're going to prop them up, and you can have them angled back or angled forward. I don't think it really matters, but I kind of like the looks when the tips are pointing forward. So we're going to go like this and then prop them up. So envision where you want them to be posted. Leave your thread right there. We'll do a little pinch wrap, pinching the feathers and the hook. Couple of wraps right there. And now if you envision flipping those up, is it going to be the right height? Yeah, it's going to be pretty close. Might be kind of big, but you know, I like them. This is really about the only thing that's going to help you see the fly. Now right now it looks kind of like a wet fly, like the start of a wet fly. But let's pull these up, put a few wraps behind them. We're going to try to prop them up a little bit. If you can't, don't worry about it, because we can prop them up with the Hackle or the Peacock herl body. So they're propped up a little bit right there. That's going to be okay. So let's take our thread to the back and then we'll catch in a couple strands of Peacock herl. And I don't have a lot to grab. Can I break these? Yeah, that worked. Okay, now take our thread just a little bit farther up. And what you can do if your tail, if those barbs are sticking up or flared a little bit, you could go back a little farther with this Peacock herl and just lay them down. I don't necessarily need to in this case, so we're going to just do, I don't know. I must have grabbed some pretty crappy herl here because it's not giving me a whole lot of the cool Peacock herl, attributes. And I broke one of them. So when that happens, just back your thread off, start again. Now we got 2 new strands of herl right here. Okay, I'm gonna have to snip these little stubs going forward because I didn't leave enough to grab if I wanted to just break them. But we're fine. Now let's do the same thing. Just watch the point of your hook. Try not to break these. Okay, that should be enough. Let's tie this off. I'll catch in just a little bit of black floss. This single strand right here. I think it's not silk. It's probably nylon, but it feels kind of like silk. Gotta snip this little excess up front. And now just wrap this up as wide as you want. but make sure you leave a little bit of room for a little bit more herl in front of this band. And this is one, you know, way this one varies from the regular Royal Coachman. You'd be doing red floss right here. Okay, I think that's enough of a band. Now with the same Peacock herl, we're just going to do a couple more wraps. Maybe I can get those wings. They are not wanting to stay out of my way here. Maybe I should have done a better job of propping them up before I, started with this body stuff. So I want my thread behind them where I'm going to catch off this herl. Okay, that should be good. Let's go ahead and catch these off here. Now here's one way we can try and prop these up with our black hackle, collar hackle up front, dry fly hackle. I'm going to catch it in right behind the wings, and I might be able to get, let's say 1 or 2 wraps behind the wings and then a good 3 or 4 in front of it. It's a pretty heavily hackled fly, and this is the only thing that makes it float. So let's take care of that stem. And I got a little bit of one of my feathers going out right there. I'm gonna go ahead and snip that, so it'll be easier to snip now than when I'm trying to clean up the fly. So let's see if we can get a couple of wraps behind these wings and then several of them in front. And so what we're doing here, we're really helping to prop those wings up. See that? With just 2 wraps behind it. And now we'll get as many as we want up front, 4 or so, maybe even 5. This isn't great hackle. I'm not putting down a whole lot of barbs. This is not a whiting premium cape. I don't know what it is. Let's catch this off right here. And we got plenty of room for our head and whip finish here. So there we go. Do we have any cleanup on this guy? Yeah, we could clean this thing up a little bit. Maybe those wings are just a little bit longer than I like, but we still got a fishable fly. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Black Coachman. Now y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.